at second and gets the double play. Watch Chris Campbell handle this high chop. Very smooth. It gets 2 on the swing, but LSU leads by 7.
Pitch just catches way too much of the plate. It's tagged by Campbell.
And welcome back to Life After Baseball. As always, guys, it's one half of this dynamic duo. It's your boy JP. I got my brother here with me,
Chris Campbell. You know the vibes.
And today we got a special episode. We have an episode that's really been long overdue, and we have a guest today that he not only embodies everything of life after baseball, but he's also helping other entrepreneurs and people who look like me, like Cam, like yourselves, get to that next level. Cam, please do the honors and introduce our special guest today.
Yes, sir. So, as always, we got a heavy hitter, but this is a heavy hitter, right? We got my brother, Neno Torres, in the building. Give it up for my guy.
Nice round of applause for Neno.
Grateful, man, to be here, for real. Thank you,
for
bro.
sure. Neno, I appreciate you, and it's funny where our story starts because, we were joking about it before G-Dub-K, but we met at not met, but we played each other when I was at Cardozo 2012 and you were at George Washington. I believe that was your senior season, right?
Yeah,
2012?
senior season. Yeah, that was my senior season. Yep.
Yeah, and that was honestly one of my craziest years playing baseball because of I transferred from a Catholic school from a school that had 400 kids to 4,000, and being able to play against players like yourself really showed me, okay, like this is what real baseball is, like New York baseball, bro. But once again, I appreciate you for showing up and popping out to the pod. But tell the viewers a little bit about you, like who is Neno Torres?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, I want to appreciate you and JP, man, for putting this together. I think you guys are making such a big impact in athletes and just people all around the world, bro. Because if you think about it, so many of us that grew up as athletes with dreams of going pro. After that's over, most people stay stuck. They don't know what's next. They don't know what's going to be their profession or their purpose in life. Sure. So the fact that you guys are doing this to offer people that guidance, that extra hand that sometimes we all need. I needed it. I just want to let you guys know you guys are doing God's work, and I pray that this blows up, man, and that it's everything that you guys ever wanted it to be and what God wanted it to be, like you said during the prayer, bro. So God bless you guys. But for those that don't know who I am, my name is Neno Torres. I'm born and raised in Washington Heights. I grew up in a Dominican family, and growing up from a very young age, bro, I wanted to play pro, similar to all of us, right? Sure. That was kind of like the dream. I watched my parents make incredible sacrifices for me, day in and day out, working extremely hard. And as a kid, I was actually writing about this in my book. In the beginning, it starts as a dream for you. Like, I want to become a pro baseball player. But then as you grow up and you start to recognize, like, look how hard my parents are working for me. You start to become more aware, like, look at where I'm living. I'm living in the hood. I'm not in the best environment. My mom can't get me everything that I want. Neither can my dad. And then you start to realize, like, I got to do this for something more than just me going pro. I got to do this for my family. Sure. And, I grew up in that environment where it was like, you got to get it no matter what. And I worked extremely hard, bro. I worked hard. I went to school. I graduated. I went to St. John's University, not too far from here. And I graduated from there, but my senior year in college, I hurt my shoulder. Okay. And my chances of going pro got taken away from me, which kind of put me in a tough position because I kind of didn't know what the next step in life was, right? Sure. It was like, I dedicated 15 years, 16 years to this game of baseball. I gave it everything. This was plan A, B, and C for me, right? So
plan D. And plan D.
There was no other plan for me. So I'm trying to sit there and I'm trying to figure out, okay, Neno, you've never worked a job. You have no work experience. You have nothing on your resume.
Most of us.
You graduated, but I don't know what I'm good at, bro. I don't know what my purpose is. It's not like I'm going to wake up and go to the baseball field and do something I love every day, right?
Amen.
So it was like, okay, Neno, what now? Right. And I hit this rock bottom moment during this moment because for me, it was like I felt like I left myself down. I let my mom and dad down. My little brother was looking up to me to be that pro.
Everyone who believed
in
the
neighborhood, bro. I felt like I let everybody down. So now I felt like a failure. I don't know what the next step in life is. So I became a product of my environment. I started smoking weed every day, bro. Staying out till 3, 4 in the morning, drinking on the weekends, chasing girls. Lost in the sauce, bro. Working no job, waking up at lunchtime. Like the moment I woke up, the first thing was like, yo, JP, what's up? You got got 5?
Yeah,
Like, yo,
we
let's
rolling
make
up.
it big.
We rolling up. What's up?
Rolling up,
That's
like,
how we going.
Yeah, like I swear, bro, and that was my life for I would say like 8 months.
So this is after you graduated.
After I graduated, and I decided. But then my pitching coach, I don't know if you know him, Rafael. You remember Rafa?
Rafa. Oh my God, bro.
My guy. So Rafa was my pitching coach all my life. So when he was like, yo, I need you to give this another chance. Like he was like, yo, you can't go out like that, right? Like you can't just go out. The fact that you got injured, whatever. He was like, yo, let's take you to DR. I got a camp over there that you could potentially maybe sign as a free agent, but let's see if we could get you back to what you was throwing, 93, 94, maybe hit 95 while you're out there.
Right.
And I went out there for the summer of 2017, and I was staying in a camp that you guys wouldn't even imagine, bro. In the hills, like super poor, but it was just young 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds that was after. I went with Alexis. You know Alexis Torres?
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
From Dubs? Yeah, the right fielder.
Didn't Alexis just pull up to Make More Money conference? Was that him?
Yeah. He was there with me. He was there with me. So,
I met him at the Make More Money.
Me and him decided to go out there together, and bro, we went out there for 4 months. I grinded it out there, bro, but my arm never fully came back around. To the hardest I ever got a chance to get back to was 90, 91, and in DR there's 16-year-olds doing that, bro. Sleep, So as nasty as I was throwing 4 pitches for strikes and everything, and everything was good. It was just like, you kind of come to the realization like, yo, I think it's time, and it was time. I'm 23 at the time. I turned 23 while I was out there, and I still have no job. My mom and dad are still supporting me at 23 years old, so
reality of it.
Yeah, you start to like, it's almost like the pressure of life too starts to hit you, and it's like, yo, Neno, we got to start figuring out what's next. And that's when I ended up coming back. I ended up saying, yo, it's time to hang them up. And I came back. And then a couple of days later, my boy invites me to an event here in Queens, which is crazy that we're here. And he tells me, yo, come to this event. We on the block playing dices, bro. On the block playing dices.
That's regular New York stuff right there. Like, you don't get better than that.
We playing CeeLo. And he's like, yo, we
Trips,
out to this
double
event.
push pay.
He's like, yeah, push pay, facts, right? And I was always the bank, too. That was the craziest fuck.
Cutting the bank.
So he tells me, yo, come, yo, when you in the zone playing dice, you don't want to leave.
I'm not hearing nothing.
You're not trying to hear nothing. I'm trying to get this money. So I'm there, and he tells me, yo, come to the event. And I'm like, nah, bro, go to the event, come back, and get ready to come play. That's literally the exact response I told him. Like, yo, go to the event, and when you come back, I need that money, bro. What's up? I'm here to take your money. He was like, nah, come, bro. I need you to come to this event. You need to learn. You stuck in the hood. Look at you, bro.
So who was that? And who was that?
This was Darwin.
Oh,
Darwin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Darwin, he comes to me and he tells me these things, and I'm like, all right, whatever, I go. So I end up going to the event, and it's an event to learn how to trade Forex and crypto and everything.
Yeah.
And I go to the event, and I'm mad in the back of the room like this with my arms crossed.
I could have been making money.
I can't believe this
My
guy
hand is hot right now.
I can't believe this guy made me come to this boring ass event, whatever. And then long story short, bro, I end up staying at the event, but I start listening, and I'm like, yo, like, this guy's talking facts. Like, yo, I could become an entrepreneur that's making money from my phone and traveling and helping my family. And at the time, that sounded perfect because I'm like, yo, I don't got a job. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this in the meantime while I found a job. That was kind of like my intention. And then little did I know that would end up being like kind of like my career path.
The
foundation and kind of like my vehicle that opened every door for me. And then from there, it just kind of took off. And I started with that. Network marketing was my foundation. I still do it to this day. I love network marketing to the end. But through there, I was able to open a lot of other paths through public speaking. I also have my own podcast as well. I travel the world. I love traveling. I host retreats now. You know about that. I've been doing a couple of retreats now. So it just became this beautiful thing. But yeah, that's kind of like how my story started, bro. And we've been running it ever since.
Bro, there's so much to unpack.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I love how you just set the tone for everything right now. And just, you gave us a little insight for what we're going to see. So, so that's where we're at today. So let's dial the clocks back a little bit. Where did you find your love for baseball? Where does that first love, that first memory of you in baseball come into play? You know, is it in the house with mommy and papi? Is it watching TV? What did that look like for Neno?
It was at the park across the street from my house, bro. Growing up, there was a park right across the street from my house, and all the kids would always go play there. And you know, it was one of those things that I saw very early on. I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, I want to start playing baseball. Like, and back in the day, we was playing with the white rubber ball. I don't know. You remember
the sponge ball with the sponge ball with the seams on it?
It's the sponge ball. That's what I meant, not the rubber ball. The white.
Same thing.
Same thing. And I remember we used to play with that one, bro. And it just started like that, bro. Just me playing in the kids, you know, with the kids at the park. And it started as something so simple, just hitting the ball. And then out of nowhere, I was like, yo, this is awesome. Like, I love playing baseball. It was always so fun. For me, it was, in the beginning, it was just an escape from, you know, being at home. So I would always go down to play with the boys and the rest of the kids that were there. And then little did I know, bro, that became my passion. I was like, yo, I want to get really good at this. Like, and the thing was, you know, what really got me, like, to have that desire for baseball was seeing how good other kids were. I was like,
I gotta get to that. But
I want to be nice like him. Like, I want to be able to hit home runs like him, and I want to be able to throw as hard as he did.
That's a fact.
And that was like, I was like, okay, I want to be good at like this too. So I was
want
the
to
young
highlight
kid.
something. I'm gonna cut you off. I don't want people to mistaken that as like a jealousy thing. It was like, no, like, yo, like you're
It
just
was a
seeing what's
competitiveness.
possible. What's possible. It's not like, oh, I wish I was better than him or this and that. No, it comes from a genuine place of like, yo, I want to be that good, and that's the drive and the competitiveness, so I can compete with these people.
Yeah, that was what it was, bro. And then I saw it, and then I became that kid that was also super upset. And it's funny because now that I think about it, I was doing that as a kid, bro. I was the kid that when everybody would leave the park, I was still there. I was throwing the ball off the wall,
fence, nobody there,
catching my ground balls, throwing soft toss to myself,
messing up your swing,
bro. But throwing it off the buildings, catching fly balls by myself. But that's who I was from the very beginning, bro. And I wanted to be good, and that's what ended up happening. I went from just being the kid that was coming to the park to now, like, people recognize, like, yo, this kid is getting nice, you know, like, he's hitting balls now, and you know. But it was just that desire to want to be great. So from the beginning, that was kind of like how it was. I saw how good other people were, and then it started from there. And then also, I could also give a lot of credit to like watching the Yankees. Derek Jeter was a big inspiration for me growing up. So like those things, I had like really good role models growing up that like forced me to like want to be good. And then from there, the desire came like, I want to go pro too with this. And that's how it kind of started.
Yeah. So how old were you around this time? Like
7, 8 years old.
Okay, so you're still pretty young.
I was still like probably like second grade. That's when it really got
So were you playing like Little League? Were you just like playing at the park?
Bro,
like,
just at the park, bro. It was just
so
at
no
the park.
Little League, no
Little
When did you
League.
start Little League then?
Little League, I started it probably like a couple years later, bro. Like at 10 years old, I was
late.
bro.
That's
very
I started
late.
late, bro. Yeah, I started late. I didn't play on a real baseball field till like I was like 9, 10 years old, bro.
Interesting.
Yeah, bro. So all my everything I learned, my foundation was at a park,
just
bro.
raw,
Off of your own,
off of my own knowledge and just from watching, bro. Just a lot of watching and stuff like that. And then it was that I went to a park and I signed up for Little League and I started playing and stuff like that. I remember my first bat. It was a black TPX, black and yellow TPX bat.
TPX.
all metal. Yeah,
those are the
solid.
Yo,
those
not no
are
BB
solid.
core.
That wax stuff. That's dope. So that, yo, to not get on a field until 9, 10 years old, like to think of, like, for me personally, I stepped on a field at 5, 6 years old. Mom and dad had already put me on the field. So you're doing this off of your own accord. So like, what I'm seeing right now is like that little kid at 7, 8, he's already acting like that entrepreneur. But what was that first team for you like, you know, that first experience of being on a baseball field? Because you hadn't been on a field for about the first year, 2 years. Yeah. So now you're finally getting to be on a field on a team. What did that feel like? Like, walk us through that.
So awkward, bro, because, you know, you go from being in your park where everybody knows you, everybody daps you up, and now I'm in a dugout with a bunch of kids I don't even know, randoms, you know? And so it was a little bit weird in the beginning, but after a while, you just kind of embrace it. And then I remember I didn't really have a good first game either, you know. So I actually remember like it was yesterday. I didn't have my best first game right away, but I eventually embraced the environment, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be here. And it was like a whole season, and over the season, I ended up, you know, started doing my thing, and everybody started recognizing me, and everybody started to love me and appreciate me, and I started to make more friends. But it's like that with anything in life, right? You start something, and you're the new kid in school, you're the new kid in the class, and then through time, you start to build relationships, people start to know you, and that's kind of how it was. But it was difficult in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, because it's uncomfortable, you know. I'm so used to being with my friends at the park, and now I'm the only one that's starting this Little League thing, and now I'm trying to invite my friends to come play Little League with me.
I was about to
well.
ask you that, like, you didn't have anybody that you played with that you were like, yo, I'm about to go sign up, or like parents that were cool with your mom. Because, you know, when you're playing baseball or basketball, like, usually the parents are talking to each other, like, yo, let's sign them up for this so they can stay together. Like, did you have any of that? Or?
Yeah. Eventually, a couple of my friends signed up. We funny thing, we wasn't able to stay on the same team because you know how it is. Sometimes teams are already packed, so we have to they had to join another team. But eventually, we ended up being to the point where we were all in the same league, just different teams. But it was still cool though, you know, because we would leave there and then we would go to the park and play together. You know, with different uniforms, different colors.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was dope.
I love that. So then. This is around, you would say what? You'd saying 10 ish?
Yeah,
11,
probably
right?
like 9, 10 years old.
About what age did you start to actually take the game a little bit more serious? Because obviously, I'm already getting to understand that you have this love for the game naturally. But now, where around this time do you start to take the game a little bit more serious? Is it maybe like your first travel team? Maybe is it around like getting close to high school? Like, what was it that really made you start taking the game a little bit more serious to where you wanted to actually pursue it now?
It was when Rafa took me off the streets.
How old were you?
So I was 14, bro. That was when I
like freshman year, no?
Yeah, freshman year. I remember because I always played baseball, bro. But the thing was that I was also a little bit of a rebel too growing up. So I love the streets. I love, you know, all the stuff that came with the streets growing up. So like, I didn't really have a vision for baseball till Rafa came into my life, right? So and the way that it happened was, you know, I was trying out for the G-Dubs baseball team. Okay. I got cut my freshman year.
What?
Yeah, I got cut my freshman year.
Never.
Yeah, I was cut my freshman year because you got to think about it. I was trying out for second base at the time. During that time, we had Mike Antonio and Cyrus short and middle infield. And they were juniors. So you know it was over. He's not breaking that. You're not leaving.
That's why I looked at you like.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, so and then there was nastier people on the team too, you know. So then they end up cutting me. I end up going JV. But I still had the vision. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna make the team.
So you didn't even think about JV. You were looking at Vars.
I was trying for Vars, bro. So I was trying out for Vars.
They let you try out for Vars as a freshman?
As a freshman,
That's weird because they usually don't let you do
usually
that.
don't, yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
so that could be why G-Dubs
is as good as they are.
Yeah,
because
bro.
people already go in there like, listen, I want to play Vars, and I know I gotta come correct if I'm playing.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So I try out for Vars my first year, get cut after the third tryout, bro. Oh my God. Third tryout, you know, tryouts is long too. So you know I didn't make the cut quick. And it wasn't that I wasn't good, it was just like, yo, they had to make cuts because, bro, most kids were gonna get cut. They was probably gonna take maybe one more second baseman out of like 10 that were trying out. So they cut a lot of people. And then during that time, they said, yo, we're gonna put you in JV, whatever, but I was still working. So there was this time that I went for a run. And one of the varsity pitchers that was on the team, his name was Haroli. I don't know if you guys know Haroli. No. He was on the team, and he's the reason why I wear number 21. And he saw me running, and he pulled me over. Like, yo, come. Yo, I see you working. I saw you tried out for the team. It sucks that you didn't make it, but you should practice. Keep practicing. He was like, yo, come to practice tomorrow. So he invites me to practice with him. I do some catching. He hits me some ground balls. This is a kid in varsity. And he sees something in me. Random. It's crazy how life puts these people in your life. You see something in me, bro.
That's so true.
And think about it, bro. If I don't go on that run on my own, solo, bro. Solo. I went solo. You know, when you're on your grind, you just solo. You left
by yourself.
By myself. And he sees me. He pulls me over. And then he sees something in me when we're practicing. He's like, yo, I'm going to introduce you to my guy. His guy was Rafa. So he takes me to Rafa. He's like, yo, you need to train with this guy all this year so that you can make the team next year. He said, next year, you're the only person that's going to be able to wear my number. I'm not giving my number to nobody else. I'm going to give it to you, number 21. And bro, it was like that, bro. I started with Rafa.
That's so dope.
That's fire,
I started
bro.
with Rafa. I started training, and here's the craziest part about it. I trained all year with Rafa as a second baseman. And bro, it's funny because like 2 weeks before tryouts, Rafa comes to me, bro, and he tells me, I'll never forget this like it was yesterday. He says, Manito, you know I love you. I want to see you win. But if you try as a second baseman, you're not going to make it this year. Because this was Cyrus last year. This is senior year.
Draft.
He's like, yo, you're going to ride the bench all year. He said, if you want to make the team, we got to turn you into a pitcher. That's when it started. He was like, yo, I got to turn you into a pitcher. Because I always had a great arm. That was one of my things because I was a shortstop.
I was confused. I'm like, you play second with a good arm though.
I was playing second and short. I was middle infield, but mostly.
Yeah, but you're not playing short at G-Dub.
Yeah, I was playing short.
I'll tell you that right there.
Mike Antonio, third rounder, it wasn't gonna happen, you know. So I was like, okay, let's try out for pitching, and then that's where it started, bro. I started as a pitcher.
Sophomore
year, I went to tryout and I turned it up, bro. Turned it up. I went in there. That's when
came
everything came in. That's where the journey started, and then from there, bro, it just blew up, bro.
So you had never stepped onto a mound.
Yes, I had, but in
seriousness,
in seriousness like this.
Yeah.
In the park, I was always the pitcher in the park.
At
the park with the rubber ball, with the sponge ball, I was the one. Give me that. I was always the pitcher, and I was always nasty because I threw all the pitches, threw hard and everything, and then I always pitched too in like the little league in the teams here and there, but never serious like what I was about to do, playing a varsity team like at this magnitude, one of the best teams in New York City, like. You know, I never played it at this level, so it was like now that's kind of like where the shift happened, and it was like, okay. And then I made the team as a sophomore, which was insane.
That's so tough. Now, you were trying out as a second baseman. Now, you becoming a PO, it didn't bother you to have to put the bat down, or they still let you hit?
Nah, they didn't let me hit. Nah, because in dubs, you're that position and that's it. They don't let the pitchers hit in dubs. So
it wasn't tough for you though. Like
it was hard to give it up, but I started to fall in love with the pitcher I was becoming. I was like, this is it. This is my path right here. You know.
So I'm curious to know that first, like some of the obviously the best moments you've had, you know, with G-Dub, because I'm always curious to know like how a team that good like gets structured. And I know a lot of, you'll probably give a lot of credit to Steve Mandel, who I had the pleasure of being coached by when I played for the 9. And but just to see like so many people of talent, like how do you manage that? Like how do you structure, like how did...
Bro, you believe it or not, bro, the people that really run the show, like Mando's obviously the coach and everything, but it's the players, bro.
Really?
The seniors are the ones that kind of set the culture in that because, bro, from the moment you join, like those players there, bro, the culture is completely different. It's all about respect, hard work, you know, give it everything you have, like, and everything is about honor and, you know, you got to know the system and you got to follow it. And if you're not working it, like, you're out, like, and you're getting called out in front of everybody, you know? So, like, we were practicing every day, bro, Monday through Friday, military style, bro. Like, we start at 4 on the dot. Like, if you were late, bro, like, you were running all practice, bro. And sometimes we were running practice, bro, from 4 to 6, 4 to 8, bro, certain days, bro. So it was all day you would be running around the first floor of G-Dubs just running. And if you stopped, you were off the team. You were cut. So, like, nobody was stopping. So, like, you had to be there 4 on the dot. We're starting, stretching, everything. When we do the jumping jacks, everybody has to be on point. 1, 2. If one is down and the one is up, we starting all over. Corre, vamos, let's go. We gotta run. Boo boo until we get it right. And then, especially in the beginning, first day people, everybody's messing up.
They don't know the
everybody's
system.
The system.
Yup.
So right there from the beginning, the standard is set. Yo, we move as one. It's like this, it's like this, and like this. So everybody shows up, bro, and everybody's on eggshells, bro, because you can't mess up. You gotta know the chants. You'll get called out. Yo, JP, it's your turn to do the chant. And if you don't know the chant, a correr. Yo, let's go, run. If you too shy to do it, go run, a correr.
It makes sense now.
Bro, so the standards are set easy right away from the beginning.
Yeah, I never forget when we played you guys. I think you guys did like a G-Dub tournament, or it was something.
We do the G-Dub tournament.
It was Dozo, you guys, Luperon, and I think it was either Norman Thomas or one of the other schools. And I remember you guys do this thing where you do the circle, and I remember we ran through a little bit of the circle.
That's disrespectful to us. Yeah. We did it on purpose though. That was our intimidation. That was like an intimidation thing we did.
I was about to say that because as you're talking about being so militant, and we see you guys spread the circle, even like people like myself, who I'm not really intimidated, especially when it comes to physical stuff. It's like, damn, like, yo, this is OD. And everybody was talking about G-dubs, right? So it's my first time seeing you guys doing the circle. Then we run through the circle that I remember we're throwing. Gio comes down. It was a handful of people. Gio was, I think he got picked up by the Rangers.
Yeah, by the Rangers.
He came down. They were throwing up. We don't see you after the game. But they took it that personal. But to me, it was... Now it makes sense why you guys were so dominant, because obviously from the outside looking in, it's like, nah, these guys are just talented. But it was deeper than just talent. You guys
way more deeper.
You guys
than
had
talent,
a system.
bro.
We didn't have that in Dozo. Dozo was more of, it's more like, I want to say smarter kids, but kids that have maybe a little more structure in their life. They're not block boys. And they just kind of let us do our thing, and then we have obviously our practice and stuff, but it didn't sound like that. So
it was different, bro. I remember those days like it was yesterday, bro. The standard is set super early, and then when I became the senior, I'm the one setting the standard. So I'm the one calling people out and telling people to go run, and it was militant, bro. I'm in the front of the line, and we run like this, and this is how things go, and it was all day, and we had to give it everything, bro. You had to show up, because our leaders, you got to think about it. People do what you do, not what you say.
Amen.
So our leaders, bro, they were grinding, bro. You would see it, bro, diving for balls in the lunchroom, bro. Yeah. Throwing hard as they could, running as hard as they could, bro, screaming at each other. Every suicide at 110%, bro. There was no 50% suicide. Nope. Yeah. Never. You crazy, bro? You was out of there, bro, if you wasn't on that type of time. So from the beginning, that was the standard, bro, with our people, bro. And you got to think about it. We had pro players, and then the people, the alumni would come back and practice with us, and it was insane, bro, but it was a good example. It was honestly, a lot of my foundation was built in dubs, to be real.
You could hear it. You could see it, bro. Like, it's just, it exudes from just the way that you're talking. And it's even me, like, I didn't go to I didn't play in PSAL, but I played with Wesley Rodriguez.
Wesley's my little brother, bro.
So, like, I saw them take some of that stuff from G-dubs and bring it to the Grays, because that's where I met Wesley.
My little brother played for the Grays.
Look at that. Yeah. So... it just makes so much sense. And like, I've realized that teams where the seniors or the players are the ones policing themselves, those are the teams you got to watch out for, because now it's not even that the coach is telling you to run. When you have the seniors telling you to run, bro, that's a scary team to run into, because you know that team is willing to work. And it just makes sense, because you as a kid, you get introduced to that culture at 14 years old. 4 years later, you're the senior. Now you making sure everybody's on point, because when you were 14, everyone made sure you was on point. I love that.
It's like a Jordan story, low key, because it's like Jordan gets cut from, I believe, I don't know if it was high school.
It was his high school team.
Yeah, he got cut, and then to come back, like, listen, I'm not gonna let this hinder my confidence. I'm gonna work even harder. Yep. So I make sure that they don't. It's not a question that I belong on this team. So for you to make that adjustment, says a lot about you and your character, for real.
Yeah, I grinded it out for sure.
I want to know some of your times in G-dubs, like times that really, really stand out, no matter whether it was freshman year to senior year, whether it's an up or a down, but some pivotal times that really stick out to you at G-dubs that really either solidified the fact that this is why I play baseball, or like, this is what I want to continue doing, and this is exactly why I want to continue doing.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to my mind was the game at home versus Norman Thomas. They throw me the ball, bro. And
your first game? It's your first game pitching?
Not my first game, but it was one of those seasons that I was having where I started as a relief pitcher. I was like the kid. I was a sophomore coming in, and
regular.
So they was bringing me in. So I started as a sophomore, then turned starter. And because I was having such a good year, because I was working with Rafa was my right hand.
Yeah.
I was working with Rafa every day, bro, 7 days a week, bro. He had me doing towel drills, running Loma hills, you name it, bro. Like, I was grinding, bro, and I was committed, bro. I didn't have no distractions. Like, all I did was eat, sleep, and do baseball, bro. I was up before everybody else. Like, I would wake up every day, bro, at 6 a.m. to run to Yankee Stadium. That was because from Yankee Stadium to my house was 3 miles. There and back was 3 miles. So that was always the goal. And I would run to Yankee Stadium, gate 6, and the dream was I'm running towards my dreams.
Ooh.
And that was the dream. One day I'll be pitching here. One day. So that was kind of like, okay, I'm going to run to Yankee Stadium and back every single day. Bro, by myself, bro, before school, while everybody was sleeping or getting ready for school, I was out there by myself, bro, running in the winter too. It was not like right now I'd be running, you know, it didn't matter. Like it was that kind of mindset, bro. And I remember I ended up becoming that starting pitcher. And then it just happened to be that the home game, our ace couldn't throw the home game because he had just pitched, and it wouldn't give him enough days to recover.
Oh yeah, you had to
give him four.
Yeah, mandatory. So he wasn't gonna be able to throw the first game at home, which is the biggest game of the season.
Yep.
When you pitch that game is highlighted on everybody's calendar in all of Washington Heights, because that's the game where G-Dubs and Norman Thomas comes together. And it's like, those are the two schools that everybody in Washington Heights goes to. It's either you go to GW or you go to Norman Thomas downtown.
Okay. Yeah, and 30-something
and 34th Street, I think it is, something like 34th. That. Yep, and bro, that's how it happened, bro. That's bro, because that day too, everybody brings their best outfits. Of course, everybody gets fly. Yeah, all the girls are coming.
The game,
the drums, the weed out.
Yes,
bro, that game was a party, bro. While we were playing, there was a party happening.
Yeah, that's
and then I'm the one pitching this game. As a sophomore, my first year at Dubs.
That's nuts.
And all day I'm shitting bricks, bro. I'm throwing the biggest game of my life in front of the whole neighborhood. Like the whole neighborhood.
Not the school, the neighborhood.
Bro, there was people in the school, people on the roofs of the building around, like everybody's there, and I'm a sophomore, and I throw one of the best games of my life, bro.
That's fire.
One of the best games of my life. I throw like 6 innings, and guess who comes into close after me? My brother Cyrus, bro. So imagine that throwing I threw like 5 2/3, and then Cyrus came in, closed out the game, 6 and 7, boom, boom. Beautiful game, and I'll never forget that game, because right after that game, I also got invited to go play at this All-American thing that Bobby Valentine was starting.
Yes, I remember those Bobby Valentine All-American shirts.
It was his first year doing it, and the coach from there was at the game, and he was looking for a pitcher because he already had Nelson and Fernellis going.
Oh my God!
I need a pitcher.
Team, that team was
stupid, bro.
Stacked.
Ronald was there. Randy Torres, the shortstop. I don't know.
Yeah. Brucey, I think Brucey was on it.
No, Brucey was in Walton.
He was that's what it was. Yeah, Brucey was in Walton.
Walton is nasty too. But yeah, I get invited, and that was what started everything for me. Because then after that game, I ended up becoming like Louisville Slugger All-American, and then from there, all the teams started inviting me, and then that was kind of like that one moment, because it was the moment that I got put to the test and I passed.
Yeah,
I love that.
It wasn't a moment that I got put to the test and failed. It was like I succeeded. I did what I was supposed to do, and the next day at school, I was the most popular.
Come on, talk about it. Talk about it.
It's like you won a gold medal, bro.
It's like you won a gold medal. You're famous now.
Everybody knows Neno now. Everybody's in the stand. Let's go, Neno. And it's like, yo, it was incredible.
Shorty's is over here saying hi to you in the hallway.
People that didn't even know me now, everybody knows me. The teachers know me, bro. Like the teachers started to give me more love. Like everything changed after that, and it was just a dope experience. So that's for sure like the moment that stands out the most, because that was like the pivotal moment that shifted everything, and that's kind of like what got Neno on the map when it came to like baseball and stuff.
Bro. I love that because like honestly, my thought process, especially when I played you, because I met you when I was a sophomore, you were a senior. And I'm thinking people like you, like off the rip, like from since a JIT are nice, you know? And so to know that really came, obviously, from all that delayed gratification, all the work you put in from when you was even playing at the park, then moving into like getting cut, you know, playing JV, and then sophomore year going all in to having the biggest moment of your life. I'm curious to know like how you carried that throughout your senior year, because even when I, you know, once again, I played against you, like that's how you were, like you was the ace of the team. It was you and Nelson. And like, you know, so like, how was that?
It's like, you know, when it becomes your foundation, that's all you know, and all you want to do is make it stronger, make it better. Like us right now, we're making money, but we want to make more.
For sure.
We have certain skills, but we want to get even better at that skill. We want to get even stronger. So that's kind of like what ended up happening. I was like, yo, I just got to get so much better at all of this, and I want to be the best captain I could be. Because then junior year comes in, now I'm the captain of the baseball team. You know, I'm one of the captains alongside Nelson and those boys. So now it's like, how can I be the best captain, the best leader, the best pitcher? How can I throw harder? How can I do this? How can I become an All-American again? So it was like I set such a high standard for myself from the beginning because of the team and the environment that I was in, that it was like, how can I go and now exceed those standards or meet them, right? Because that's the goal.
At a
it's
minimum,
either meet them or exceed them. So that's kind of like, so when you had seen me senior year, bro, it was already years of practice and grinding and failed attempts. I also had a lot of failed attempts as well. There was a lot of failure in that as well, bro. Yeah, there was a lot of failures, a lot of things that didn't work out in my favor. Games that you know, they were given to me and I fumbled the rock. Because look at how funny it is. You say that now, we talk about that. I pitch against Norman Thomas. That game we win. It takes us into the playoffs. In the semifinals, we're playing Tottenville. You know Tottenville? So we're playing Tottenville, and I pitch the first game. We lose against Tottenville, best two out of three. And then the next game is at MCU Park in Brooklyn. And then we lose that game. And I remember that game, I was in Darwin's car actually driving back, and I was in tears, bro. I remember, because I felt like I let my team down. You know, I took us to the playoffs, but then that game in the playoffs I lost. You know, and it was such a tough game. But that season I went 10-1, and my only loss that season was that Tottenville loss. But it's funny, look at how life comes back. I was holding that loss thing, because then the following year we played Tottenville in an upstate tournament.
Okay.
In the tournament in upstate, and bro, I ended up pitching against them. I threw 7 innings. 12 strikeouts. I was holding that shit in the heart. I had it in the heart, bro. It was in the heart. I threw 7 strong, bro. The whole game, 12 strikeouts. I remember like it was yesterday. 1 hit, right? Bro, and we won MVP. And I won MVP of the tournament, bro, because of that game right there. But it was
so tough. I could imagine just like how your whole demeanor, just walking into the field and just probably talking to no one.
On some Max Scherzer shit.
Yo, all he sees is Tottenville, the glove, and that's it.
That's the type of time I saw, bro. It was like, just like how you described it. I wasn't talking the whole way there in the bus. I remember I was just like this, bro. Like, we're gonna get him today.
Watch this.
Like, I'm on the ass today. Yo, I was on it, bro, from the first pitch. High to the side. We coming, bro. We coming. And I was throwing every ball as hard as I could. I was snapping that curveball more than I ever snapped it. Like, I was more on point, bro. There was zero loss of focus. There was zero looking to the left and the right, bro. It was just me and the catcher, and that was probably one of the best games I ever threw in my life, bro. But it comes with the failure, bro, because the failure, like, if I didn't have that failed attempt the year before that and came and got the opportunity to come back, like, that's what I love about baseball. Like, you fail so much, but then you also, like, get so many opportunities to redeem yourself, and that's the key.
Amen.
Damn, that's.
I wanted to ask you, so like now we're at your senior year, right? You came back, you put the beats on Tottenville.
I haven't heard that in a while.
What does that senior year transitioning and getting close to college look like? What does that recruitment process look like? You know, what are some teams that are looking at you? You know, how did you handle the recruitment process? Because that's also another part of the conversation people don't take into consideration. That recruitment process can be a bitch sometimes. It can be overwhelming. It can be scary. So, like, how did that look for you?
Believe it or not, I didn't really have a lot of pro teams looking at me in high school, bro. I had maybe like a couple, but in high school, I never really threw like really hard. I was maybe like 86 to 89 miles an hour. I was just extremely competitive and crafty. I could throw 4 pitches for strikes. I could put it wherever I wanted, but I still wasn't throwing hard enough where even if I was a scout, I would be like, this kid still needs a couple more years, you know, because like I told you, bro, like it was just a couple years before that I had just started taking baseball super serious.
That's crazy.
You know, so
it became a pitcher sophomore year.
Sophomore year. So in reality, a senior year, I only had really 3 years under my belt. So I'm still really like a rookie in the pitching game, but I was good and I was good at what I did. So I didn't really have much college offers, bro. That's why I ended up going to Western Oklahoma, because I didn't even really have a lot of. There was only like there was 2 schools that I remember that were interested in me. There was a school in North Carolina. It was called North Carolina Central University. And then there was this other JUCO in Florida that was interested in me, and that was really it. Bethune-Cookman. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
Yeah, HBCU.
Yeah, it's an all-black school actually.
Yeah, HBCU, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. And those were the only 2 schools interested in me at the time. But Rafa had the connection with Western Oklahoma.
All the
Everybody.
heavy hitter pitchers were going
Yeah,
to Western.
So
like
Western
feeder school.
So I go to a tryout. I do a trial with Coach Russell. Coach Russell also played. I'll tell you guys a little bit about him.
I've heard stories about him. Listen, when I went to
that?
cut you off, Russell is the head coach of Western. When I went to Keystone, when I was there with
Oh, you went to Keystone?
Yeah, I was there with for a year with Jeffrey and Kulebs. They would tell me about stories of Russell.
Yeah,
Russell
bro.
was crazy, bro. Real quick,
Nuts.
Russell was so crazy. He made his pitching coach run polls.
Yeah. Nah, no cap though.
The pitching coach?
The pitching coach,
Bro,
yeah.
military, bro. Like I went from military with like Dominicans. He actually comes from the military.
Oh, okay.
So I go to a trial with him. I'm gonna tell you this funny ass story right now. You're gonna laugh your ass. Yo, I'm telling you, bro. And I sit there and I do the trial. He accepts me. Like, cool. We're gonna give this kid a scholarship. He's one of Rafa's top guys. Whatever. I show up to Western, bro. There's 80 people in Dallas Fort Worth, bro. 2 buses full. There's 80 students, bro. 80 baseball players. And I'm the only one on the bus with my mom, bro. The only one that showed up with his mom. My mom did not want to let me go alone.
No.
She was like, there is no way that I am going to allow my son to go to a school in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma by himself. I am taking you. And you know me. I'm like, Mom. I'm trying to convince her. No,
I'm in college.
The flights is expensive. She like, que cueste lo que cueste. It don't matter. It don't matter what it costs. I am taking my son. So she ends up taking me. And I end up being out of 80 kids, bro, the only kid on the bus with my mom, bro. And you just getting the looks from everybody.
Yeah,
like,
who this guy?
Who's this kid? Like, look at this kid, mama's boy. Russell told me years later that he thought that out of everybody that I was gonna be the one that didn't make it. He told me that. He said, yo, years later, after 2 years of being there, he like, it's funny because I never told you this, but you know, the day that you showed up with your mom, I told the coaches that you weren't gonna make it because you were the only kid on the bus with your mom. And funny about it, I ended up becoming one of the best players that ever played at Western, which is crazy.
That's fire.
But yeah, that's kind of like how the story started. And then I ended up going to Western, which was another life-changing experience for me, bro.
Talk to us about that because
Yeah,
I've heard
something that stands out.
and yeah, because for me personally, like I have friends who went to Western Oklahoma, so I've heard stories firsthand, and I've heard what they went through, how crazy Russell is, the competition level, but I've also heard of how well he prepares them. So I just want to know, what was that time at Western like? Because I know it was not easy.
Yeah.
Bro, it was like what we had at George Washington, but like on steroids, bro. Like imagine the kind of culture we had at George Washington, but just even bigger, bro. Because now the competition level is a lot bigger because it's college now. People are throwing a lot harder. He's flying kids in from the Dominican Republic that were supposed to sign and didn't sign because of whatever reason, age reasons, whatever happened. And these kids are coming in there throwing 95, 96, 97, 100. I'm coming in there throwing 88. You know, I'm like one of the pitchers. But the thing is, I came in with the same mentality. I'm gonna eat everybody's food, bro. Because at the end of the day, regardless of like, it goes back to me as a young kid, seeing these kids that were so good and wanting to be better than them and wanting to, you know, be like them or whatever it is. So I had that very early on with Russell and at Western. So from the beginning, bro, I always wanted to be the hardest worker. I wanted to be in the front of the line. I wanted to do the sprints harder than everybody and everything, bro. And that transpired to the baseball field. Because then when I got on the baseball field, I wasn't the hardest thrower, but I was the most competitive. I was the most craftiest. I was the one that threw the most strikes. And while there was kids throwing 95, 96 all over the place, walking the world, I was the one getting outs, getting ground balls, striking people out, getting through innings, getting out of jams. So Russell peaked that from the very beginning. Yeah. And then the thing is about this, look at what happened. The hood shit, that's what I be telling people. That hood mentality won't get you nowhere in life, bro. I end up going to Western, right? Okay. And there was this thing that happened in the dorm room where one of these kids, one of the players there tried to disrespect me on some like, yo, you this and you soft, whatever. And I swung at Buddy and like I hit him and we ended up like scuffling for a little bit, but because I was in sandals, I was like, yo, I bet. So we scuffled for a little bit. And I was like, we slipped a little bit. And then I was like, all right, bro, I'm going to come back. I'm going to go get my sneakers. And then we're going to fight 1D for real. Yeah. But I was in that hood shit because I felt like he tried to like punk me or whatever. So once you see red, that's it. Over. I saw red, that's it. It was no more. Like, I'm going to fight this guy. So I go get sneakers, boom, boom, boom. I walk in and I'm like, all right, perfect. Now is it first punch I throw, we swing at the same time. I swing, he swings, but he hits my elbow and my elbow dislocates. It comes out. This is during the fall season while I'm trying out to play for Russell. I had only thrown like 5-6 innings during the fall. So I'm trying out in the fall, and I go dislocate my shoulder. I mean, my elbow comes out of place, bro. He hits me right here. My left elbow, because I swung with my left, hits me right here and dislocates my elbow, and and then I turn around. I'm like, yo, that's it, stop. And I turn around like this, and I run out the dorm room, but my elbow's dislocated. So then they call the ambulance. Russell comes. They take me to the hospital. Yeah. They cast me up. I'm out for 3 months, bro.
And this is my first fall at Western, bro. This is
your freshman year.
This is my freshman year. I'm talking, we got there like August.
Because you get there early.
We get there August. This is September, bro. This is like a month in, bro.
Oh my God.
This is a month in, bro. Like, nothing has really happened. I'm not even established yet. People had just saw me throw a couple innings, bro. And I gotta give a lot of love and respect to Russell, because, he still believed in me, because I thought I was gonna get cut. I thought I was gonna shirt. And it was funny because after the cast, now I can't pitch. Like, that's it. I'm done for the remaining of the fall. I can't throw at none of this. You know what's the funniest thing, bro? I got hurt the game right before Scout Day. So Scout Day hadn't even started. I got hurt during the scrimmages. You know how they play a couple scrimmages?
And then Scout Day. And then,
like white, blue, or green, yellow.
Yeah, your team colors.
Yeah. Literally that, bro. I got hurt, and then the Scout Day started the next day, bro. And I couldn't play none of the Scout Days. I couldn't pitch none of the Scout Days. I couldn't pitch the remaining of the fall, bro. I had a cast on the whole time, and all I was doing was a bunch of routines, legs, running, everything. But it was just with the cast on. But he saw that in me, though, bro. He still saw it in me, because I was in practice every day with my cast, still doing the work, still doing the workouts. Everything that I could do that involved, that I didn't have to use this, squatting, everything, bro. I did everything, all the drills. I did all the running with people with the cast on, bro. Yeah. Like, I was still committed, because even though I was so disappointed that I messed up, I had to find a way. And when the time came, I still made the team. But the funny thing about it, I didn't even pitch the first 11 games. And the day that I was gonna tell him that I was gonna have the conversation, because the seniors started coming up to me, they were telling me like, "Yo, don't lose a year, bro. Like, just tell Russell to redshirt you, whatever it is."
Yeah, because that's like 20% of the season.
I know, bro. I was already.
It depends how much you play, but usually you play like 40 games.
Yeah, we was playing like 50 games.
Okay,
we played 50 games at Western. We played close to 50. So he was like, "Yo, just tell him to redshirt you. You haven't pitched 11 games in." And the game, I was literally gonna talk to him after the game. That game, one of the pitchers, he shits the bed, and he ends up putting me in to pitch that day, and I close it out, and I do it, and I pitch a great game, and then that's kind of like how my Western career started. And it was funny, because then that pitcher, he was in college. There was 4 pitchers. It was 4 of them. That number 4 pitcher, he kept dropping the ball, and I kept being the one to come in
and clean it up.
So after I came in and cleaned them up 3 times, by the 3rd time I took his spot.
Fourth guy, yeah.
I took his spot as a freshman, and then from there I went from being the freshman to I ended up being the number 1 my first year. I pitched the first playoff game of the season. Of the first playoff game, it was me, because I was the one. Even though I didn't throw the hardest out of all the number 1 through 3, we're all throwing 92 to 95, 97 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. I went from that, but I was the one that was throwing 89, 91 now in freshman. Mm-hmm. But it was strikes, and I would get people out, and I was crafting, and I went from being and then that year I went 10-0. My freshman year, I went from not pitching 11 games
and breaking
my elbow, the fall, the whole 9, to now pitching and going 10-0 my first year, which then following year, then I became the captain of the team, etc. And that's kind of like how my career started. Then I committed to St. John's after that year, and
how was St. John's? Because you hear about St. John's a lot, but like, how is that? And I know it's probably a lot. It was probably a lot different from Western, and definitely from G-Dubs, because I feel like G-Dubs and Western is more, you have like the inner city kids, and it's more of that vibe. And then you go to something like St. John's, and it's more structured. You have obviously more white kids there.
Yeah, I wasn't accepted, bro, in the beginning, to be honest.
And I feel that, and I feel that because, I mean, at New York Tech, when I transferred from Grambling, which is HBCU, to Tech, it's a PWI, predominantly white institution.
Yeah.
So it's like the culture is different. Then you're coming over there with, like a little bit of swag, La Rabia, and it's a little too much for them. So like, how was that?
Yeah, so I came into St. John's already with a bad reputation for the simple fact that when I committed to St. John's, when you commit to a D1 school, you have to play at the summer league of choice that they choose for you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So when I committed, my coach Corey Mascara, he's now the head coach for Duke, which is crazy. I got to do a podcast with him, but he tells me, yo, I need you to go play at the NECBL, which is
in
Connecticut.
Yeah.
So he's like, yo, you got to play, like, this is mandatory for all our players, you know. And after my sophomore year, after I had graduated from Western, he said, yo, you got to go here and play this summer. Okay. So in that summer, that's where all the St. John's players are playing. And it happened that I was playing their Sunday night guy, which is, his name was Calica, is my boy now. We love each other to death. But back then, he was a Sunday night guy. So Corey calls me the night before. He's like, yo, tomorrow you guys are going to play the guy's spot that you're fighting for, which is Chris Calica. He's the Sunday night guy. That's the spot that we're bringing you in to fill in.
Okay.
And fight for. So I'm already, you know, he put the
Yeah.
Watch this.
Prime Neno about to come out now.
So I'm pitching that game, and like in the second inning, I faced a cleanup hitter. He was the first baseman from Miami at the time, and he hits a double off of me. But like, it was one of those doubles that looked like they were gone, and he stayed parado, like he pimped it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I took that personal, like
Regular block hook.
If it would have went out, yeah. But the fact it's a double one.
So he pimps it. He pimps it. And I'm like, I bet. And he gets to second base, and he tries to, like, you know, he was coming at me, bro. Like, I guess they knew what was going on, and we knew over here. So then the next at bat, I go into the dugout. I'm like, I'm dropping him next at bat. I don't care what nobody says. I'm dropping him. And I'm talking about big white boy, you feel me, beard, the whole nine, Aki. And I'm like, yo, I'm dropping him. And my coach was like, no, don't do it. We don't do that here, this and this and that. And like, I went against everything. And I remember as I was walking out into the mound when it was his turn to bat, like 2 innings later, I heard him tell to the catcher, set up outside. Do not go inside, like set up outside only. And the first pitch, my catcher sets up outside, and he's telling me, and he's literally doing like this to me, like, no, he's like telling me, literally nodding his head, like, don't do it, like this. First pitch, square his back, bro, right there. The bench is clear. Calica, the kid from the other team, comes running now. You a bitch, this, blah, blah, blah. And I end up getting kicked out the game. My coach calls me after the game. What the fuck was that? This and this and that. You're lucky that you're one of my players. If not, you would be kicked out of the NECBL. We don't do that shit here at St. John's and this and this and that. It was a crazy ass story. So when I came in,
They about to hit somebody.
I came in with that thing, and then I came in because, you know, I was the captain of every team I ever played for.
So now it's a different vibe, especially coming from JUCO, because you're going in there where people already know each other.
And people been there for 4 years. So I come in there, and I'm trying to call. I remember the first. So, you know, this was my fault, but I bugged out. So there was a day when we finished practice at the very beginning, like first 3 days of practice. And the training coach was like, all right, guys, one of you guys call it up. And everybody's stuck, bro. Nobody's saying anything.
So I know
So I'm looking around, and I'm like, yo, is anybody gonna say something? And I'm like, all right, guys, everybody team on me. 1, 2, 3. And nobody's
It's just you there.
team, and nobody says nothing. And then the trainer looks at me like, yo, like, Torres, we love your enthusiasm, we love your passion, but, you know, this is only for seniors. Like, only seniors call it up here at with the Johnnies.
So tell them step up then.
So I was like, yo, my bad, was no disrespect, but like from the beginning, I rubbed off on people
already,
wrong. I just rubbed off on people wrong. But then eventually they ended up loving me, like.
That's how it always.
It always is,
bro.
I grew on them, but in the beginning, I was too intense. I had the street mentality, and, you know, I was still with this Western and G-Dubs mindset, and I had to settle, bro, because this was D1. You know, Coach Blankmeyer, Team USA coach.
Blankmeyer don't play.
Blankmeyer is the president of the coaching society for all coaches in the whole country.
Shit,
yeah, bro.
Look at that.
Yeah, bro. And he's Team USA coach. He's coaching alongside the guy from LSU, Louisville, all these boys. You feel me? So I came into one of the most respectable organizations, and I came in as this young Dominican kid, and it's me and my guy Medeiros from Miami. He was a shortstop. The only 2 kids that were Spanish. Everybody else was Italian, white, the whole 9, and that's it.
So I'm curious to know, right? Because there's there's probably gonna be more people who are not playing than playing. But like, how do you, as like a kid in the city, how do you get them to tone it down a little, but still be able to be themselves? Because it's tough. Like even myself, like I'm very similar to you, like JP, where we're hype, this and that, talking shit, this and that, and then you go to like a PWI or somewhere where that's not really accepted, but that's part of your game though. Like, how do you get the younger like generation to like not tone themselves down too much, but still be able to be themselves? Like, what would you tell somebody like that?
That's a great question, bro. I think people got to learn how to read the room, bro. I think sometimes we go into certain environments and certain places where, you know, we want to be ourselves and we want to, you know, express ourselves a certain way, but we got to remember that certain people have their certain environments. It's like somebody coming into our house and doing whatever they want. You kind of have to read the room in certain places. And that's something that I would tell the young guys is like, yo, read the room, like be yourself. I'll never tell somebody not to be themselves, but read the room, see what people like, what people don't like. and even if you have to tone it down a little bit and work your way towards that, once you've built the confidence and the trust, then you can get there. Because I feel like if I would have done that from the beginning, eventually I became intense and they used to love it, right? But it was because I came in too aggressive right away. And it's like I ripped the Band-Aid off too fast. I didn't give them the chance to trust me and like kind of have that respect for me. Right. I just kind of showed up to their house and opened the fridge and got on the couch, put my feet up and was like, yo, this is my crib type thing. Like,
as it was normal.
And we do that a lot. A lot of us that grew up in environments, we do that a lot because that's where we come from. That's like the energy in the environment. But you got to learn that, you know, as you get older, you got to have respect. You got to have boundaries. You got to have a certain level of awareness of your environments and stuff like that. So that's what I would say to them for sure. But that's a good question.
I love that. So then around this time, you know, you start to see like your little struggles with St. John's, you know, them as far as like them accepting you, like, is this around the time where you start to see that like baseball is not in your cards anymore? Like, what is that time period around? Because like now you're saying like we're already at the last 2 years, like you're at St. John's and everything. So like, what does that time look like of you getting closer to either thinking like, all right, I gotta either get drafted soon or this ain't gonna work? Like, what did that time
and to be honest, bro, St. John's, that first year at St. John's was my worst college career. I didn't even pitch that year. I only threw like 3 innings that year. I actually had a terrible year. It all translated, like all the bad energy that I got from, you know, just being that kid, and I feel like it all translated to the baseball field.
Yeah.
A lot of things weren't in my cards that year. The few times that I did get an opportunity to go out there and show who it was that I was, I shit the bed. You know, I came in here, walked the world, got hit a home run off of.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. It was just... in looking back, I would say it had a lot to do with just the environment that I was in. I didn't feel confident. I came from an environment where I would turn around and everybody in the dugout was on my side, you know, and I felt confident in my team and the vision that we were going after. And I knew that everybody had my back, and I knew that I could look left, look right, look behind me, and I knew everybody around me would kill for me. Like, we're going to do whatever. I didn't have that same... confidence, you know. I felt like there were people hating against me and people that I knew people didn't like me. I knew some of the coaches didn't like me, bro. Like, I just had so much animosity towards me around that time that I feel like it just translated to the baseball field. And then I would go on the baseball field and I couldn't be myself because I'm walking on eggshells. I don't want to show off too much So I was just going up there and I was just
going through the motions.
And I was getting lit up and it wasn't me. And then after a couple opportunities in D1, you know, I got like 4 opportunities, all 4. I fumbled them. That's it. They just threw me on the bench and I ended up becoming bench captain that year. I was bench captain that year.
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, there's a bench. Energy. Yeah, because it was my energy. So it was like, yo, you're not going to pitch much this year. So be the guy that I'm the one bringing people waters, getting people hyped, like, let's get people hyped. But I embraced that role though. It's crazy because I look back and I was teaching this I was talking to a group of baseball players not too long ago, and I was like, I tell them that story always about how, I went from being the best pitcher all of high school, my first 2 years of college, and then my first year D1, I went from being this guy to being the bottom of the bottom, the bench captain.
Yeah.
Like, Think about what that does to your ego. You go from being the ace in every school to now being the captain of the bench, where you have to bring water to people, help people out, bring them their towels, get the crowd hype, get everybody hyping, call people out. Like, that's who I was, bro. I'm on the bench. Yo, we got one there too. Like, I'm the one. I'm the loud Dominican kid in the dugout doing these things, bro. And it was a super humbling experience, but I loved it, bro. I ended up falling in love with it because it was like, yo, this is my role. And I was always a team guy. Like, as much as I had ego, I understood being a team guy. And I didn't want to be the guy in the bench that always had a pouting and F this team and they're not going to put me to pitch, so I don't even want to be here, bro. I was embracing my role, bro. I was in there embracing it, bringing people in when the team was not in good spirits and I would see us losing. Yo, huddle up real quick, everybody, huddle up. Yo, what's up, JP? You better than that, bro. Yo, Chris, come on, man. You got to go out there and compete, bro. Let's go. Let's get this going. This inning is ours. Like, I was that kid in the bench, bro, because even though I wasn't the captain of the field, I was the captain in the bench. So it was my...
You still took pride.
I took pride in it, you feel me? And guess what? That year, we won a championship.
Oh, shit.
We won the Big East championship that year.
I guarantee you a huge credit is to small things of you just getting the team, the synergy.
The little things, bro. Because I didn't want to be the one that messed up that energy, that synergy that you're talking. I wanted to be the one that, even if my role was bench captain, I wanted to be the best bench captain that I could be, you feel me? And that's ended up happening. We ended up winning the championship, and bro, I went from being the best pitcher on all these different schools to being a bench captain, but I still won a ring. You feel me? And I'm grateful for it. And I won, and I won a ring in GW, and I won a ring in all these different schools.
Damn, that's what's up.
This ring I didn't win it as being the main guy. I won it as being the guy behind the scenes that nobody saw, but still played a role in it, which was beautiful.
Does that ring mean more to you than the other two because it forced you to take a step outside of yourself and become someone different, maybe?
Yes and no. I wouldn't say it means the most because I love the ones that I contributed and I was there.
I knew he was gonna say that. Like, I didn't strike out 100 people in the season.
But it does mean a lot to me because it showed me a part of myself that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know that I could put my ego and pride aside and commit to a role that I didn't commit to and still give my best in that role. A lot of people can't do what I did, bro. A lot of people can't put their ego and pride aside. I know people put in those same exact positions that were awful at it and brought the worst energy to the team and didn't do anything. And I know kids do that to this day. Like, if they don't get what they want. But that day, that role taught me, like, yo, Neno, I was able to humble myself, put pride and ego aside, which is sometimes, it says it in the Bible, that pride and ego is the fall of any man. You feel me? So it was like, yo, the fact that I was able to put that aside, bro, it was just...
Is it?
Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, one of the deadly sins, bro. So the fact that I was able to, and that was at a young age, bro. Like, I now that I see it from the perspective and knowing what I know now, like, I'm so proud of myself for doing that because I embrace my role, and that's something that's sometimes so hard. Everybody wants to be the number one. I was okay with being the, not even number 2, number 3. I was if there was 30 people on the team, I was 29, 30 on the team. You feel me? At that time. But I embraced it. With all the love and all the respect and every desire that you could ever imagine, I embraced it. And then next year I became the Friday guy, which is the craziest thing about it, right? So the next year I ended up becoming the Friday guy. But now I was embraced and people loved me and I felt like these people had my back now and I was back in the environment that I could thrive in. You feel me? But it started with what I did the year before that. You feel me? It started there, and then I'll tell you guys another funny story. The hood thing actually worked out for me one day. I'm gonna tell you guys a funny ass story. So one day these guys go out. They used to love going to bars, drinking.
Yeah.
They love the bars. Parsons.
What's that?
I don't know if you guys know a bar named Parsons.
Nah, but that's on the Ave.
That's on the Ave on Union
Queens?
Turnpike.
Yeah, this is Queens.
I'm not a Queens.
Oh, you don't know Queens?
Nah, I don't know
Union
Queens.
Trads. But I think Trads was, but Trads was like a younger crowd.
Yeah, it was a younger crowd. But we go to this spot. They go to this spot, and they were getting bullied. A couple of our baseball players were being bullied by some lacrosse players, and it was actually the coach's son. Right, coach's son. His name was,
Oh, I remember his son played. His son was all right. But
yeah. He was second baseman. So they call me. It's like 2 a.m. They call me, yo Torres. They used to call me Torres. Yo Torres. It's about to go down at Parsons. They trying to fight Ty. We need you out here, bro. So at the time I was with my girl and she had a car. I get up. It's 2 a.m, bro. They called me. I get up and I go downstairs. I grab a knife, but I'm like, just in case, because I don't know what I'm showing up for. I'm like, I grab a knife, and then I get to the location. I pull up, and I see the commotion happening. It was like 5 minutes from my crib, 5-7 minutes. I pull up, and I was like, I went to grab the knife, and I'm like, nah, because the boys pull up. Like,
it's over. Yeah,
it's over. So I did the front. I'm going to pull up like I already have it on me. So I go up, I get out the car, I slam it dumb hard. Boom, and I walk out. And I'm like, yo, what's up? Who's fucking with my team? What's up? It's you? And I get in his face, and the boy starts to cop a plea. He's like, nah, it's no pressure. I'm like, it was you? He's like, I'm doing to you right now. But on some hood shit, you know, because I'm doing to you right now. And bro, everybody cops a plea. Everybody's like, yo, chill. Nah, it's not even like that. I'm like, yo, Ty, get right here. Yo, everybody, what's up? Anybody fuck with my team, you already know. It's like this. It's on site. I'm telling them, hood mentality.
Yeah. Gangster, that's that guy.
I only see your movie.
I was still there though, because I was still growing up in the hood. I was still in that mindset. I'm not like that anymore, but I was still in that mindset at the time. And bro, right there they copped the plea. After that, I was valid on the team.
Of course, because he had our back.
Because the next day at the locker room, yo, Torres, you're the man. The white boys hugging me, kissing me. Now I'm getting invited everywhere. The dinners, the frat party, I'm
family rides.
Now I'm valid everywhere, bro. I was valid everywhere after that. And and like embracing my role as the bench captain was like the 2 things that I would say like then open that door for them to like embrace me as a brother. And they were like, they were like, yo, Torres is one of our brothers, and I became one of them. And then senior year, I became that guy.
Black sheep becomes the GOAT. That's like the best way to explain it, because you go to somewhere where you don't fit in, and I mean, obviously you fit in, baseball wise, but it's not your environment. You're in a position where you go from the highest you've been to the lowest you've been, still own that position, and go from being the least respected on your team maybe to the most respected. That says a lot, about your character, bro. For real.
Yeah, bro. And I had to take somebody's spot. And I used to tell him every day. It's my brother Jeets. I used to tell him every day, yo, I'm gonna take your spot, bro. From the fall. he used to laugh at me, yeah, Torres, whatever, bro. I used to tell him every day.
And I know he was dead ass.
I was dead ass. Bro. I was sick. I was sick of that. I was like, because of the year I had the year before, I said that's not gonna be my career. I'm not gonna be the person that had 2 amazing years and then fell off, and then I didn't want that to be my career, bro. I was like, yo, this has to be the year that I shifted. And bro, I would tell him every day, bro, at practice, at the gym, I'm gonna take your spot, Jeets. I'm coming for your spot, bro. I'm coming for your spot. And I would push him and I would run. And I was obsessed, bro. I was the guy, I would count his reps. Yo, he did 10, I'm gonna do 12. He only did 20 push-ups, I'm gonna do 25. He only worked out an hour, I'm gonna stay an extra 30 minutes. Whatever he was doing, bro, I was doing more. I'm gonna outwork him, bro. I'm gonna outwork him every single day. I know he's not doing the work at home. I'm working out at home. I know he's not doing the extra running. I'm gonna do the extra running. Because I saw he was getting comfortable.
Yeah, like
he was getting comfortable. He was like, it's my spot. I'm a senior. Nothing's gonna happen.
He lets food get cold.
I'm good.
He let food get cold.
I'm like, nah, bro. I'm coming for that, bro. And I would tell him, but out of love, though. It was all love, though. But I would tell him, yo, and I'm coming. And it ended up working out to the point where I was the number 1 guy coming out the pen at the time. I was coming out the pen that year. I started off coming up the pen, and then my boy goes down with freaking Tommy John, the ace.
Shit.
My guy goes down with Tommy John, and boom. Guess who gets the number 1 spot? Me. I was speaking it all year, bro. That's what I tell people, bro. If you speak it, you have a desire for it, and you write it down, and you tell yourself, and you work at it, bro, and you do it, it comes true, bro. One way or another. It's unfortunate that it happened the way that it did, bro. I wasn't wishing that on him.
For sure.
But that's how it happened. Boom, something happens, an injury. Who's the first one in place? The person that was prepared. I was the one at the time coming out the bullpen, throwing 1-2 shutout innings, bang, 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 bang. I get put in place. My first time out, 6 strong innings. I win the game. Now my coach comes up to me, yo, you're a Friday night guy for the next 7 starts.
That's how it goes. Yeah, that's how it goes. You do go
and
once,
and then there I was pitching at Louisville, pitching at Florida State, 5,000 people, pitching at all these big time schools.
How's
UNC.
How was that experience? Because I remember the craziest game that I played was LSU. We played LSU at Grambling, right? When I was at Grambling,
God.
Bro, and we were beating them, right? We were beating them. Like I hit a double, my boy Zay hit the double, whatever. We're up. Then there was brothers there. There was 2 brothers. Duplantis was there. I don't know if you remember Duplantis.
I remember that name. Yep.
Robertson, Kramer Robertson, I think had just graduated, but I think Duplantis hits a double. One of the brothers hits a home run, and bro, I've never felt that type of like vibe in the stadium because I was playing second that game, and like LSU is the stadium's a little weird, but it's like it feels on top of you a little bit.
Yeah, that's how Florida State feels too.
Bro, when they started doing their chanting,
oh my God.
And the way that it feels on that field is like your body's like vibrating through this shit.
Yeah, because it's 5,000 people screaming at you. You're the one on the mound. It's all focused on you.
Bro.
That's how I felt at Florida State when they're doing the little hammer thing.
The
Seminoles.
Have you played Arkansas?
Everybody.
Have you played Arkansas where they go, oh,
yeah, the Razorbacks.
Oh, champ.
Bro.
I thought they were doing some spiritual.
We lost to them. I remember my first year
nice.
to them. That's where Benintendi was on that team. He was the Golden Spikes that year. We played against him.
How is that like? How is playing in those environments consistently like for you,
bro? It was life changing, bro. Because at St. John's we had a good crowd, but it wasn't. It's not that. Though. It wasn't that kind of college crowd, bro. So we would go into that, and it was crazy playing at OSU, Oklahoma State, bro. Playing at NC State was also big. North Carolina we played at.
She's crazy.
We played at Oregon.
That's a heavy baseball school.
Big baseball schools, bro. There's so many more I'm probably forgetting. Louisville was another great one that we played at. That was amazing, bro. And those environments were life changing, bro. It gives you that almost professional, like you're playing pro, bro. It makes you feel like you show up, you're showing up in your nice ass uniform and playing in front of thousands of people. You're getting off the bus. It makes you feel like you're like D1 is almost pro, bro. If you think about it, bro.
Semi-pro to me.
Semi-pro for sure, bro. There's certain games that we played against some of the best people out there, bro. Like I've played against some of the best people out there, bro. And those guys went and went pro,
Benintendi, Benintendi's
pro.
I think he's been in the league 10 years now.
The catcher for the Dodgers was his name.
Not Will Smith.
Will Smith. I played against Will Smith, bro. Shit. Yeah, he was the catcher at Louisville too, bro. When we played, I pitched against Will Smith, bro.
That's
bro.
Sick. That's sick. And I know like earlier you were telling us that like after St. John's, I believe you said you had a shoulder injury or
my senior year, so it's crazy. Look at how the thing goes. So that senior year, I'm pitching every Friday night game. I throw a game at Seton Hall the week before the final series, which is against Creighton. So I pitch at Seton Hall. I throw a great game at Seton Hall. Now at this time, I got a lot of scouts interested in me. I've gotten all the letters. I got the Pirates. I got Tampa. I got Boston. I got Texas. I got all these different scouts interested in me. I'm a senior. I'm a Friday guy. Now my velocity is 90 to 94, tapping out 95. Like I'm throwing 4 pitches for strikes. Like I'm polished now.
On the radar,
I'm polished now, and I've been under it. Like at this point, I knew I was gonna get a chance. Though I was on the board to get a chance. Like as a senior in college, I probably would have went in the later rounds. They probably would have threw me a couple racks, whatever. But I would have got a chance for sure, 100%. But what ended up happening was I pitched at Seton Hall, and this is where I believe my injury came from. I prepared all season as a setup guy to throw 1-2 innings. Because the injury happened so early in the year, I was forced to go from being a 1-2 inning guy to being a 5, 6, 7 inning guy. And that stress on my shoulder added up over those couple games, those high value games and every game I threw it.
Giving it your all.
I'm giving it my everything. Is my last year, so all that whip and all that stress and all of that, I guess it started catching up to me towards the end of the year. And at Seton Hall, after I finished pitching, I was 91 to 93. I felt something tweak in my shoulder that day, I remember. And even though the adrenaline was up, but after that, I was feeling it in my shoulder a lot. And I'm like, damn, bro, like it hurts. And I remember I took a few days off to like let it rest. Maybe I just thought it was like a small tweak. But then I'm pitching the Friday night game at home versus Creighton, which is the division series, which is we're both like hand in hand, and whoever wins the series wins the division and gets first seed. So I'm Friday night and I got a pitch, but my shoulder is shot, bro. And this is the game that every scout is coming to make a decision on me, bro.
Of course.
This is the game that they've been watching me all year, but my coach tells me before the game or like leading up to the game, we're like, yo, the game on Friday, we have a couple scouts coming to make a decision on you, so show up for yourself. I remember he tells me that, and I'm like, bro, what am I gonna? I'm just praying to the Lord, bro. Please, God, like, let my shoulder be good one more game. Like, this is all I need is this game.
Just
like,
one.
just give me this one game.
Yeah.
Let me just show them what I've been showing them. That's all I needed, bro. Go out there, show them 91 to 93, throw a couple pitches for strike, give them 5-6 strong innings, and I'm in the draft for sure in a couple weeks. It's already end of May, by the way, too. So, the draft is in June.
there.
So I'm right there. So long story short, bro, I go out and that game, bro, my shoulder's not letting me throw, bro. I'm throwing 80 to 82 miles an hour, bro.
10-mile-an-hour drop off.
Bro, my arm is shot, bro. But you know what's crazy? I threw 7 innings like that. Nobody could believe it. Everybody like, yo, what's wrong with Torres? Like, what's wrong with him? But I was out there competing because for me, it was like, this is it.
I gotta give it all on the line.
I gotta give it all on the line. Is either I don't show up and I leave my team out dry on a Friday night when I'm supposed to be their guy, or I go out there and compete and at least show them that I'm here with them. You feel me? And
Facts.
I went out there, bro. I threw 7 2/3 innings like that, bro, throwing anywhere between 78 to 82 miles an hour, bro. And the scouting report had me at, yo, this kid threw 91, 93. Where we messed? So they was all off balance. They waiting for somebody that's throwing 92, 93, and I'm coming in 80 miles an hour, 81, sinking too, just
shit dying at the end.
bro. But I'm competing and I'm still throwing strikes. Cause in my mind, I'm still the same guy mentally.
Yes.
Just physically, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I was throwing it as hard as I could, but it didn't go harder than that. So I'll never forget it. And it's funny because I was just writing about this 2 days ago in my book. When my coach took me out, he told me something that I'll never forget, bro. As I was walking out, I was getting the daps and shit like that. He was like, yo, after the performance I watched you put out there, whatever you decide to do in life, Torres, you're going to be extremely successful. I believe in you. What you just did out there, no one would have done. But I respect you for going out there and competing your ass off the way that you did. Just know that whatever you do in life, you're going to be successful. And those words still to this day hit me like a ton of bricks, bro, because he always told me, because of that mentality that I had, that regardless of what happened, my situation, my circumstances, whatever was on the line, everything was on the line, bro. You got to think about
Your
it.
future,
My
everything
whole
you worked
life,
on for it,
my
everything you worked.
family's in the stands watching. My little brother, I got 10 scouts there waiting to make a decision. And I still went out there and I gave it everything, bro. And even though it didn't go we won.
Yeah.
But everybody knew that, without saying it, everybody knew like it was over type thing. Like, you might not get the chance that you wanted now because you didn't show these people what they wanted to see, And the next day he calls me into the office and he tells me like, yo, so what's wrong with the shoulder? I'm like, yo, coach, I don't know. He's like, how fast can we get you an MRI? Because the scouts want to know. I go to get a thing for the MRI. The MRI, they don't want to give me one for like another 3 weeks.
That's how it be, yeah. Especially when you don't have like the best insurance.
Yeah, so they don't want to give me one for another 3 weeks. The draft is in 3 weeks. They want to know what's going on to see if
we could draft him,
if
maybe
we could
rehab
draft
him a
him,
little bit,
rehab
maybe
him,
free agent, whatever it is.
But 3 weeks, the draft is in 3 weeks. So I didn't give him enough time. So, and then by the time I went and got the MRI, the MRI basically ruled out that I had a dead arm. I had tears in my rotator cuff. I didn't need surgery, but I was going to need 6 months of PT and all of that. And they never called me. And that's the name of my book. They never called.
Oof. Yo, that's tough. Yo, damn. That's a tough
They
name.
never called. And then the subtitle is When My Dreams Died, The Vision Was Born. And that's going to be the book right there. And I started writing it already.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
But
I'm looking forward to that.
Yo,
That's
honestly, walk me through, like, what did that look like? Because now, like, it's one thing when, obviously, it didn't go your way. We know that. But you still had an opportunity to impact the game and everything. You still had that love. What did that time where now baseball's over look like for you? Like, did you hit imposter syndrome? Did you hit, identity issues and everything? Because from listening to your story and how the love for the game, I pick out that no matter how shit your situation is, you still find a way to find light in it. You still find a way to shine through. What did that time look like once baseball was over for you? Did you struggle, or that's that portion of Neno that made it to where your coach said, you're going to be great in whatever you do, did that shine through still at that point?
It did, bro. That's a phenomenal question. I did hit a lot of imposter syndrome, but because the dream was still there, I still believed I could make it, even though I was like, yeah, there was just still this little ounce of belief, like, maybe there still is a chance. Maybe this is just part of your story, Neno, and like you're gonna be one of those guys. So like during that time while I was in this rehab, my purpose became helping my little brother. And at the time, my little brother's best friend was Wesley. So like,
Wow.
so me and my little brother and Wesley, we become like this trio where like, you know, I'm going to practice with them. I'm helping them now. You know, they're on their championship run this
That's
next
what's
coming
up.
year.
Oh,
so
he
I
went to Dubs?
Yeah,
Your brother went to Dubs?
yeah, he was. He was
So
the one
probably
that
played
took my
against him.
number right after. His name was Lico.
Oh yeah, I'm bugging.
You know Lico.
I'm bugging.
Yeah,
I forgot.
So we end up. So I become like this coach and almost like this mentor to Wesley and more to Wesley because I was already that for my little brother my whole life. But just Wesley, me and Wesley always had like this love for each other.
Yeah.
He loved what I was as a pitcher, and we always competed. We always talked a lot of smack to each other and stuff like that. So I kind of became that, and we would always practice together. Now I was practicing with Wesley. Now I'm doing all these things with Wesley. And then at the time, Wesley had just got signed too. That summer, he had just signed a professional contract with the D-backs. So I was there for him, and I was always his throwing partner and his grinding partner. And one of the things that Wesley wanted to kind of like develop was my work ethic. You know, like that was always something that Wesley lacked a little bit. Was
if you know him personally.
if you know him personally, you know that his work ethic, he worked hard, but he was a little bit lazy in certain areas. And, you know, after a certain time, he would just be like, yo, F this. Like, I throw 100 miles an hour.
That's literally his mentality.
You can't even be mad
Can't even be mad at him.
Like,
Like,
bro, I throw
I throw 100, but, you know, it was something that, you know, he always loved about me, and he embraced it because I always pushed him, and I was always the one that wouldn't let him slack off. And if he wanted to leave early, I was like, nah, we finishing. If he wanted to stop a rep early, like, nah, we going all. So he loved that about me. So during that time, I kind of like, going back to what I was saying, I always embraced the role that my life puts in my life. Like, I just know that everything is happening for a specific reason, and it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. You feel me? So I've learned to embrace roles throughout my life, and that's probably been one of the most successful traits I've had throughout my life, that I've learned to embrace my role. My mentor always said, everybody wants to be the mentor, but nobody wants to be the mentee. You know, everybody wants to be the teacher, but nobody wants to be the student. You know, everybody wants to be the leader, but nobody wants to follow. I've learned how to do both. And I've learned how to be the best at both. And I know when it's my turn to lead, and I know when it's my turn to follow. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Everybody wants to lead. But a great leader was once a great follower, you know? So I've learned how to do that through my career. So going back to your question, I just embraced it, bro. I embraced what my role was during that time. And my role during that time was to be an example for my little brother and for Wesley, and to push them and to hold them accountable, and to be that voice of vision and holding them accountable and all those different things. And I embraced it. And next thing you know, I ended up going to DR, and that's kind of like how the story happened. And then I came back, and then I hung them up.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know some of like the feelings of, I remember like you were saying like, okay, I went back to the like my hood mentalities. I was shooting dice on the block, and obviously, you know, you had mentioned that Darwin, you know, he drags you to one of the network marketing events. But what is like that feeling of like that like identity crisis, you know, that most of us go through when like baseball is our whole life, and then you have that crisis where it's like, damn, like I'm not that Neno Torres anymore on the baseball side, but I'm still Neno Torres, but like so how is that like transition, and what's the feelings like after that?
It's tough, bro, because like you said, it's like my whole life it was like, Neno, when you make it to the league, I need my tickets.
Yeah,
I think
that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part with most people who do stuff at a high level like us, because you feel like you let down that whole community. Like,
yeah,
and then when you see them and they don't know what happened,
you don't even know how to tell them, yo, how's baseball going?
I'm at the YMCA right now, part-time working, and I'm just...
Those were the hardest conversations to have, bro. Those were the hardest things. And, you know, I also felt like, you know, my mom and dad invested so much, bro. Like, bro, so much. Yeah. Even my coach, you know, my little brother, everybody is just like... And now it's like everybody's watching to see, what are you going to do next? Yeah. So now you feel the weight of the world on top of you, because what's next for Neno? Because you're still held at a pretty high standard because of who you were. For sure. So you can't just go and just do anything, you know? So it's like, you know, what are you going to do, bro? And now I end up becoming nothing, because at the time I was just the kid on the block, just smoking weed, lost. So that's, people went from seeing me as the kid that was gonna be the one that saved us and got us out the hood, to now look at him in the basement smoking weed waking up late, nothing with his life. So now that was at the lowest place of my life, and that's why I always tell people at rock bottom comes your biggest blessing, bro. Because I was at rock bottom, bro, at that moment, bro. And my biggest blessing was Darwin throwing me that bone, bro. That's why I always tell people I always will forever have an incredible amount of love and respect for Darwin, because he threw me that bone, bro, at a time when I needed it, bro. And he opened the door for me that I didn't even know would end up being my career, that would end up opening, so many doors and so many possibilities and so many things in life that I never even thought were possible at the time, because I was so low. When you're so low, you can't even imagine that far. I would have never imagined that I would be on stages speaking around the world and making hundreds of thousands and doing all the things that I've done. Like, I would have never imagined that, but somebody opened that door for me, bro. And that's kind of like what started it. But it was still hard, though. That's the thing. Like, even though I got blessed with that opportunity, it was still hard because I had this badass mentality and paradigm that wasn't allowing me to grow in business, because I went into the business with the same mindset that I had in the hood. And that mindset doesn't work in business. You feel me? You have to completely change the way that you think, the way that you operate, your habits. You got to change everything, bro. Literally everything you got to change. And that's kind of like what happened. And it was after, I remember it was an event that I went to. It was one of the company conventions. And I go to a company convention, and I'm there and I'm sitting there and I don't even have money to go to this event. I go out this on my last dollar, bro. Broke. No money in the pockets. But I remember, and we still out there doing hood shit, because my boys sneaking me in through the side of the thing. We don't got tickets, so we still in this hood mentality. But I was hungry. I wanted to be in the room. So my boys are sneaking me in through the side door. And I remember being there, and I remember these people walking on stage and talking about how, I just paid off my mom's house, and bringing them on stage, and I've officially retired my family, and I bought them a house, and, I'm making 50 grand a month, and this and all of these things. And I'm watching this, and I'm sitting in the back of my room with less than $50 in my pocket. Yeah. And these guys are doing the things that I wanted to do for my family through baseball, but they're doing it through this business. So then I realized that the business that I had at the time, I had only been doing it for 6 months. I'm like, I'm taking this for granted, bro.
What business was that, if you don't mind?
This was my network marketing business, my trading and network marketing business. Okay. And, bro, at the time, I was like, you know what? I'm taking this for granted. I'm going all in, bro. Like, I'm going all in. I'm leaving this event, and I'm going to go all in when I get back to New York. And that's exactly what I did. I left that event. It was in Vegas. And I went all in on myself, bro. I stopped taking everything for granted. I cut off everything, bro. I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking. I started waking up every day at 5, 6 in the morning, bro. I would go to the park, read books, listen to audios. I would visualize myself being successful. I got in the gym, and I just started every day focusing on becoming a better version of me. It wasn't about money. I was chasing growing Nano. How can I grow Nano every day, bro? Every day. And it was the same mentality, the baseball mentality. Up before everybody else, working harder, but I was working harder on myself, my mindset, my habits, my emotional intelligence, learning how to imagine myself in the places that I wanted to be, studying all these different books, bro. I was reading a book a week. Like, bro, I was just obsessed, bro, obsessed. I became so obsessed because I was so sick and tired of where I was, bro. I was 24 at the time, almost 25, living with my parents, bro, barely making $1,000 a month. I felt like a disgrace to myself. I'm like, Neno, you was at the top of your game a couple years ago, and look at you now, living with your parents, barely making $1,000 a month. Throwing your life away. So many people believed in you. You were supposed to be the hope of the hood. That was my name, the hope of the hood. That was my name growing up.
That's a lot of weight.
That was a lot of weight. And look at what you've become, bro. Like, it was that shift, that realization. Like, yo, you need to change everything around, and you got to go and make it happen. And I went all in on myself, bro. A year and a half later, I was making 6 figures.
I want to know, how much of a role does faith in God play into your life and into your entrepreneurial journey, anything of that nature? Because just from listening to you talk, your cadence, how you conduct yourself, the way you carry your story, I can just tell that you have this undying faith that's in you. And you don't just have this faith within you of yourself without having a faith up top first.
Facts.
So I just want to know, how much does faith and God play a role in your life, and the changes that he has made, and just what you have seen him do for your life, and why you believe, like, yo, he's a miracle worker. Like, this is
everything, bro. God is number one, bro. And I'll tell you, bro, like, there were times where I didn't think God was hearing my prayers, bro. There were times that I thought that I disappointed God too, bro. I thought that I'm like, damn, bro, I let God down. He was one of the people that I would put on the list of people that I let down when it came to the whole baseball career. But as I started to understand my relationship with him, I understood that it was part of his plan. You know, he had something bigger planned for me. And even though I held kind of like this grudge, or I felt some kind of resentment towards the fact that, like, God, like, come on, bro, I gave this everything, bro. I never cheated. I gave this everything, bro. I never cheated. I showed up every day at 150%. Like, it was like, why me, bro? Like, out of all people, like, there's people out there that are not even working hard as I am, and they're
getting
there.
drafted.
Getting drafted. They're in the league. They're doing this. They're doing that. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, bro, why me? But then as I started to realize, and I started to realize my gifts, I started to realize that it was all part of God's plan, bro. And I started to understand that. And then, you know, as I start to read the Bible and I start to, you know, pray more, and I start to realize, like, yo, literally everything that God has ever done for me has always been to make me better, to expose areas in my life that were weak, that, you know, every tough time, like now, the reason you say that about me, bro, is because now I know, bro, that God is with me at all times, bro. And that at all times, He's guiding every single step that I'm taking, and every movement and every opportunity that shows up. Even the ones that seem like they're not for you, they're still for you.
Amen.
So I walk with that faith and that confidence and that belief, bro, that everything works out with me because I got God with me, bro. And I love it so much because I have so much faith in His plan, because I've seen what He's done for me already. He took me out of the hood, bro, where 99% of my friends and people that I love haven't been able to get out of it because it's a trap. It's a trap. The hood is a trap, bro. It's the biggest trap. And the thing is, most people don't know they're in a trap. That's the thing. So I come back because all my friends and family are in the trap, but I know what it's like to live outside the trap now.
Yeah, outside looking in.
Outside looking in. So I get both perspectives. I was in the trap and now I'm outside of the trap. But God pulled me out. I was that chosen one. He said, yo, you're the one. You're the one that's going to help all these people get out, but you need to leave them to lead them. You feel me? I had to lead them.
That's hard.
I had to leave to lead them. I had to show them that it was possible. I had to grow myself as a person. I had to do the all uncomfortable things. People used to make fun of me, bro, for reading and for meditating.
I feel that. But bro, one of the biggest things I've heard is if you want to hide something from a black or Spanish person, you put it in a book. And as funny as that sounds, it's
facts, bro. It's 100% facts, and that's what it was, bro. And yeah, we pushed, and bro, my life changed, and from there it was just grind, and continuing to be the example. And now I work every day to help my people get out. Yeah. That's my dream now, because I was able to get out. Now it's, all right, mom, let's go, dad. I pulled my little brother out. My little brother's a top financial advisor, top financial planner in Tampa for $1 billion company. Boom, I pulled them out too. Now he's in Tampa. Now I'm working on pulling my parents out, pulling my friends out, pulling everybody around me up, bro, so that, because I want to teach them what I did to get out, because I know how to get out. The trap is, but the thing is, are you willing to do the work to get out?
Work ethic so separately. That's how.
That's
what
the
I'll be
thing.
telling.
Because I could give you the whole blueprint, right? Yo, are you gonna work it? Are you gonna make the sacrifices, etc.?
Now you bring up the concept blueprint. It makes me want to ask the most important question on this pod. If you could give the younger generation the blueprint, if you could give them the piece of advice, finding their life after baseball, finding what they're gonna do, dealing with the ups and the downs, what would Neno Torres tell them?
I always teach this, and I live by this. I always tell people the key to being successful in anything you want to do is, number one, find somebody that has what you want. That's the first step. If I could go back, knowing everything I know now, I would find somebody that has exactly what I want, that lives the way that I want, that is a man of God, you know, that is resilient, that works hard, that believes in himself. Like, I would find somebody that has what I want. I would do exactly what they did to get there. That's the key. Do exactly what they did. Read the books, listen to the audios, go to the events, whatever it takes, eat the way that they eat, talk the way that they talk, whatever they do, you do it. And if you do that long enough, you will get what they have. And I always tell people that, because in anything in life, that's really what we all did, right? If you think about it, I found Rafa. Rafa was my trainer growing up, right? He had what I wanted. He had the knowledge, he had the skill sets, he had this. I did what he did. And I was able to become successful because of it, right? So now in life, in mentorship and in business, especially because life after baseball, you don't know what to do. Find somebody that has, whether it's the money, whether it's the company, whether it's the skill set. Find that person and work with that person. Find out what they did, invest into that person. That's what I do now. I invest into mentorship. For example, you guys were asking me about the speaking stuff, bro.
Yes.
I invested $30K for that for a year, to learn. But, he's teaching me how to get paid 20, $30K for a speech. So I can pay him $30K for the year, but, if I get 2 speeches, I can make back the investment, and then everything else after that for the rest of my life is profit, right? But it's also understanding the investment in yourself, right? It goes back to what we talk about all the time in entrepreneurship. You got to invest into you, because in business it's different. We're not investing into travel, baseball, and gear. Nah. Here you're investing into guidance, mentorship, strategy, success. Yeah. So that's the key. I would say anyone that wants the blueprint, find somebody that has what you want, do what they do, make the investment, and do it long enough until you get the results that you're looking for, bro.
Nah, listen, I think we're gonna have to do a part 2.
Yo, we have to do a part 2. We have to do the part 2.
Like the business stuff, but before we wrap it up, please tell them where to find you, what you got going on this year, so we can make sure that we stay in tune and follow the journey.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is at longliveneno, Neno. You can also download my podcast. It's available on all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Mornings with Neno. Yeah, and then I also have a new page. It's called Retreats by Neno, where I'm hosting luxury wellness retreats all around the world for high-level entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and anybody that just wants to elevate their life. We got that going on. So that's where you guys can find me, and anything I could do to help, I'm always here, man, for real.
I appreciate you, my brother, more than you know.
Bro, this episode was one for the books. I'm talking about just the conversation, what you've been through, your story, how you hold yourself, and as a person, as a man, I have so much respect for you. Sure. You're definitely an inspiration for me, and you're someone that I can look towards and look to. I can ask him for guidance in this certain area, because one, we look the same, we come from the same area, we think the same. It's just you're that testament that lets me know people like us can get this stuff done.
For sure.
But
100%, bro.
Not for nothing. I want to thank you again for your time. Cam, thank you for finding this and this relationship with this right.
Those are what
you feel me? But listen, this is Life After Baseball. This is what we do. This is the heart and soul of our podcast, where we go and we teach people like you guys, our viewers, how you can go from dugouts to deals,
or from cleats to clients.
We'll see you in the next one.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Ball to get to him, stepped on second and gets the double play. Watch Chris Campbell handle this high chop. Very smooth. It gets 2 on the swing, but LSU leads by 7.